Less than 24 hours away from NFL training camp starting for your New England Patriots. Welcome back to football. If you guys are excited for the Patriots season because it is right around the corner, go on ahead, spam Pats in the comment section because I'm going to be breaking down 5 big storylines heading in to your Patriots training camp this season. Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Allie Barefoot, and like I said, top 5 things to watch for this training camp for the Patriots as the veterans report today. The rookies have been there since July 19th. I saw a really cute photo of Drake Maye, Jalen Polk holding a sign that says, "My first day of NFL training camp." The rookies are there. They're ready to go. The veterans are now coming in, but there are still major storylines about how the Patriots are going to shape up in this rebuilding year that we have got to unpack. So let's talk about the rookie, because everybody's eyeing Drake Maye and the progress, the development, the growth that he has made since we saw him at OTAs and minicamp. And I'll tell you what, he looked pretty damn good during OTA and minicamps. He's been working outside of Patriots facilities. He's been working with trainers in this off season in between minicamp and training camp. So I'm excited to see what Drake Maye brings to the table as he now has the opportunity to take over as QB1. Well, Alex Van Pelt, way back in June, talked about what he saw from Drake Maye. And he said, look, it's a process and a marathon. So we're really going to take our time and do it the right way. Jacoby is our starter. He's playing excellent football for us in the spring. And Drake is coming on. Until that changes, we're going to stick with what we get. That is what you should be looking for at training camp, if anything has changed. Because it's Jacoby Brissett's job to lose. If Jacoby keeps eye and eye with Drake Maye, plays in the same level, then it'll be Jacoby Brissett's job. If Drake Maye explodes in training camp, if Drake Maye somehow elevates over Jacoby Brissett in a big gap, then it's going to be Drake Maye who will be QB1. But that's what he's got to show Jerod Mayo and Alex Van Pelt. He has got to show him something that makes the two of them go, we need to have this kid out on the field for week 1. But he's not perfect. He's a rookie. And there are some things that I saw in OTA and minicamps that I'm hoping he has now adjusted or possibly worked on to ahead of NFL training camp. Has the field vision improved? That's the number one thing that we saw on a lot of scouting reports about Drake Maye heading into the NFL is that when he does get frazzled, when he does not have an open receiver, where will that field vision go? How will that work? We know that he's a good scrambler. We know that he could also be a good pocket passer. But if there is no open receiver, what will Drake Maye do? How will his field IQ play out? Not to mention choppy footwork. That was the number one thing they worked on in OTAs with Alex Van Pelt and Drake Maye. It's just simple, basic footwork routines. You got to get down that stuff before he transitions into an NFL pace. And then careless interceptions. The one thing here with Drake Maye is that he didn't have a great offensive line at UNC, which caused some faulty interceptions. And that kind of goes along with field vision, and it goes along with choppy footwork. You want to make sure that Drake Maye is not just throwing the ball to get it out of his hands and avoid a sack. You want to make sure that if there is an interception, it's going to be a phenomenal play by the defense, not because of a careless throw by Drake Maye and your New England Patriots offense. And speaking of the offense, let's talk about City So, David Andrews, and Onwenu, because this is looking like it's shaping up to be left guard, center, and right guard. However, there were a couple of movements when it came to OTA and minicamp, and this was the offensive line they're running with at minicamp, which makes me think, okay, are we keeping Onwenu at right tackle? Because we know Onwenu can do the most damage at right guard. But Nick Leverett has been running at right guard during minicamp, so there's going to be a bunch of different variations here at training camp. This is the latest offensive line that we have seen playing in front of Jacoby Brissett in Drake Maye. But we know that in OTA minicamps, it's just shells, it's just X's and O's, full pads will determine if the Pats need anything more on the offensive line, especially a left tackle. I know we're talking about City So and David Andrews and Onwenu, because that's looking like your interior offensive line. The left tackle you got a core for right now. He's not a long-term solution, but it could be temporary. And then if you do have Onwenu move into the right guard position, are you going to have Wallace move up to right tackle, or are you going to switch Nick Leverett to go to right tackle? There are so many question marks surrounding these top 5 players that training camp is going to reveal a lot. But I do believe an emphasis needs to be, regardless of the formation, is there needs to be a camp emphasis on zone blocking. This is something that I saw that could improve from last year, and I do think that while you have a bunch of guys moving around, maybe not going head-to-head defending one specific nose tackle, right guard, left guard, does not matter. I do want to see more zone blocking here from the offense to prove that, hey, you're going up against a top 3-4 front in the NFL. What are you going to do when it comes to the zone? That is something I want to keep an eye on here. But nonetheless, this is still a very shaky and a very weak spot for the New England Patriots. How confident do you feel about the Patriots' offensive line as a whole heading into NFL training camp? Go on ahead, let me know how you guys are feeling right now in the comment section down below. While I tell you guys about one of my favorite ways to get tickets to anything. Concerts, games, events. I love using GameTime. I actually use GameTime to get myself and my boyfriend Zach Bryan tickets in less than a month. I'm going to go see him in Jerry World at AT&T Stadium. And of course I had to use GameTime. Why? Because the number one feature I love using about GameTime is that you can actually see where you're going to be sitting. It is not an overview either. It is I am sitting in my seat. I can scan around. I can move the screen and see what I will be seeing for the cost that I am paying. Because if you are using GameTime, you're going to get the lowest price guaranteed. You got the views from the best seat and last-minute tickets and flash deals. Let me tell you guys, the Yankees are coming to the Red Sox territory in a week. They're coming to Fenway. And I want you guys to be able to get the best deals on Red Sox tickets while the season is still going on. And like I said, you can literally see where you're going to be sitting. You can see how close you get to be to the action. And what's even better is that Chat Sports and GameTime right now, you can get $20 off your first purchase with terms that do apply. So like I said, go on ahead, download the GameTime app. All you have to do is create an account and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase while terms do apply. So like I said, go on ahead and get flash deals, get zone deals, all in pricing, and you can see the view from your seat on your phone before you buy. That's my number one reason why I always use GameTime, so I highly suggest you guys go on ahead and do it. One more time, download the GameTime app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. All right, let's talk about number 3, training camp preview. Is there going to be another elite defense under Jerod Mayo? Because this is no longer the Bill Belichick era. So Jerod Mayo is also on the spectator seat here to see how he's really going to revamp both sides of this football team. And no, I do know he's got a lot more work on the offensive side than he does the defensive, but Bill Belichick was a defensive-minded head coach. And now you're getting Jerod Mayo, who was literally a defensive player in the NFL and played under Bill Belichick. But, like I said, expected contract negotiations will be done by Wednesday. This will include Matthew Judon, Devon Godchow, any other contract negotiations that are currently on the table that are causing a little bit of stress and drama in the locker room should hopefully be done by Wednesday. So that can allow Jerod Mayo to fully focus on the defense without having any rumors or drama hanging over their heads. Because the number one thing I don't want is for Judon to be a distraction. He's a phenomenal player. He is a top 5 sack leader since 2019 in the NFL. He obviously makes your defense better. He's also a locker room leader. So if he does bring drama in, it's going to hover over multiple different positions because a lot of people do look to Judon. Do not let him be a distraction. Focus on the good. Focus on what you have as a Patriots defense right now. Also get Christian Barmore, for example. Barmore is coming off a great extension right now. Not to mention, he was named to PFF's top 100 players. He was ranked number 94, but he was the only New England Patriot to crack this list. I think Barmore was phenomenal in the pass rush last year. He was really the only bright spot. If you can get Judon's contract underway and pair him back up with Barmore, who I do expect to have a great year, that pass rush will be phenomenal. Not to mention, Jerod Mayo has high hopes for second-year player Keion White. I'm very excited to see Keion White. I follow him on Instagram. I've been seeing all of his workouts. I mean, the guy's been putting in work in the offseason between minicamp and training camp, and I'm excited to see him in full pads going head-to-head on that 3-4 front for the New England Patriots. Because there is no secret the Pats' defense was the only good thing about 2023 NFL season. It was not the offense. It was not Mac Jones. It was the New England Patriots top 10 defense. And when you take a look back to what they did last year, here is why. They ranked 4th in NFL in rushing yards allowed. They ranked 11th in passing yards allowed. That's what I'm talking about. The pass rush needs to have Matthew Judon and Christian Barmore back in full effect. 7th in total yards allowed and 15th in points allowed. I'm very excited to see that defense not only elevate this last year, but also grow. And like I said, with Jerod Mayo being a former linebacker, all eyes are going to be on Jerod Mayo and DeMarcus Covington to produce a top 10 defense yet again. There is no more Bill Belichick. There's a lot of concerns about the defense without Bill Belichick, but I think they're in good hands with Jerod Mayo. Coming in at number 4, Kendrick Bourne. Is he ready? Because we know Kendrick Bourne is leading to be wide receiver 1 here, pending anything that we haven't seen from Jalen Polk just yet, because he's a rookie. You don't want to title wide receiver 1 to a rookie just yet, especially one that was a second-round draft pick. So, nonetheless, don't expect too much from Kendrick Bourne very early. Throughout the first week of training camp, the guy tore his ACL in October. There is still a little bit of rehab that is going on. If you do not see great performance from Kendrick Bourne, if any, do not be concerned. He is still in this bubble of, can he play, can he not play, how healthy is he? Plus, if he's not as healthy as they thought he was, there are reports out there that he could miss week 1 against the Bengals of the NFL season, which would mean you're going to have to put that wide receiver 1 title on either Pop Douglas or Jalen Polk. But here's what PFF had to say about Kendrick Bourne heading into the training camp. Rookies Polk and Javon Baker enter camp with momentum, but Bourne shouldn't be ruled out either. The 28-year-old put together another nice season in 2023, finishing with a 69.7 PFF receiving grade and no drops on 55 targets. However, Bourne suited up only 371 snaps because of a torn ACL. After returning to New England on a 3-year, $19.5 million deal, Bourne clearly has fans within the Patriots front office. He could impress during camp and solidify himself as a wide receiver 1 in a receiving room without many well-established targets. If Bourne cannot compete to a high level because of the rehabbing for an ACL tear, it is now Polk's chance to shine. Training camp is going to determine, hopefully, 1, 2, and 3 in your wide receiver room. It's also going to solidify who's going to be that 5th or 6th receiver that is still possibly up for grabs in this pool of 19 receivers right now for the New England Patriots. But my question here to you guys, which receiver are you watching during training camp? My eyes will be on Jalen Polk. I'm excited to see him work with Drake Maye and Jacoby Brissett, but don't rule out guys like Pop Douglas, Javon Baker, or Kendrick Bourne as well. Last but not least, the kicker position. Who gets the boot? Literally, who's going to get kicked out of New England and who's going to get the starting nod as the kicker for your Patriots this year? This is a pretty interesting position battle that goes a little bit under the radar because it's the kicker position. But I've said before, you wait until your Patriots are down by 3 and they need a tie and you have got to rely on one of these guys. Well, let's look at what you could possibly have. Joey Sly, a veteran who most recently played for the Washington Commanders, or Chad Ryland, who did not have the best first year with the New England Patriots, obviously not going 100% in the 30 to 39 field goal range. He went 50% from the 40 to 49, where Joey Sly is a lot more accurate, not to mention 50-plus yard field goals. He's 3 for 3, where Ryland is only 50%. If Ryland struggles early in camp, it's done. It's gone. He's cut. He has to be. Joey Sly has the absolute opportunity to win the job right now during training camp. I don't have that much faith in Ryland. I don't. And maybe you can sit around and give him another year, but I think that's more of a Bill Belichick draft pick that I'm just not 100% involved in. I think Joey Sly is a better option. And if Ryland does not improve in training camp, it's going to be Joey Sly's job. So that's going to be a kicker position you're going to want to watch out for. There's numerous position battles heading into training camp, but the kicker position could be a very interesting one towards the middle and back half of camp. But last question here, what are you most excited about for Patriots training camp? Go on ahead, comment it down below. That time of year is finally back, and I want you guys to be a part of it. Comment it down below, and as always, go on ahead and subscribe to Patriots Today by Chat Sports.